Biden case of the woke mob apologizes the Laken Riley
by an
suspect.
illegal. Well, not probably.
That's crazy. Apologize to the Laken Riley suspect.
I don't. It was technically not supposed to be here.
An undocumented person, and I shouldn't have used illegal. I should have. It's undocumented.
3 days, 3 different explanations from President Biden. This as he does bend over backwards to apologize to a migrant murder suspect for calling him an illegal. Good morning. I'm Dana Perino. Bill's off today. Good morning to you.
Thanks for having me, Dana. Good to start the week with you. I'm Sandra Smith. This is America's Newsroom. The man the president is referring to is charged with murdering Georgia nursing student Laken Riley. Republicans successfully pressured him into mentioning the case during the State of the Union address, though the president...
Remember I told you they're going to do a victory lap and be like, this is a big dub for Marjorie Taylor Greene and the Republicans in general for even mentioning it. Another big mistake from the Brandon camp.
mispronounced Laken's name.
That did not sit well with Laken's mother. She called the president pathetic. Republicans say it speaks to Biden's fundamental misunderstanding of the border.
This is his version, Lawrence, of Bill Clinton, what the meaning of is. To even argue this point in the face of this 22-year-old young woman whose whole life was ahead of her, was taken allegedly by this person who crossed the border multiple times, had a criminal background, to argue whether it's undocumented or illegal. Look, it's illegal, Mr. President, and it's a slap in the face of this family of...
Like, it's so dumb. Here's the parallel, okay? Here's the parallel. It's not a direct analogy, so don't get mad at me. If a black person murdered a white woman, okay, and Biden literally said the N-word about them, okay, there is no justification for it. You know what I mean? There's no justification for it. Like, what do you mean? So for him to go back and be like, I apologize for that statement, these guys are like, no, you have to say it, actually. The fuck? Obviously, it's not the same to say undocumented versus the N-word, or okay? Thug would be a better, more analogous situation. This will get clipped too. No, I'm just saying, like, it's so fucking ridiculous. It's the energy is the exact same place. Obviously, if it was a direct analogy, I would have said it is. Thug would be a better direct analogy. This will be on Reddit. Dude, shut the fuck up. Oh, God, I hate these wormy little fucking losers in the chat who are constantly worried about it. It's like, dude, you're literally invoking it. You're just trying to get people to do it at that point. Stop. They're woke scolding, even though Republicans say illegals in a heartbeat. No, they're Republicans are saying, thank God he said illegals because they are. We made him do that. And then they're going around, look at this pussy. He's like going back on his word.
Laken Riley. It's Laken, Mr. President, not Lincoln.
Yeah, retired Yuma Sector Border Patrol Chief Chris Clem is on deck. But first, let's get straight to Peter Doocy, kicking things off for us at the White House this morning. Hi, Peter.
Sandra, good morning. About a 2.5-hour drive away from Athens, Georgia, where Laken Riley was murdered, her family, her grieving family, greeted Donald Trump ahead of a rally there backstage. We have this photo here, and a few minutes after this, Trump went out to the microphone, and he really let it rip about President Biden's apparent deference to the man accused with their daughter's violent murder.
They just told me prior to what I'm doing right now that Joe Biden went on television and apologized for calling Laken's murderer an illegal. He was an illegal alien. He was a...
Yeah, bro. If he only fucking was more aggressive, if he called him like the B word or the S word, then the dude would get the death penalty. That's how it works. The more you say like unconscionable shit, the more the punishment, the more it tacks onto the punishment.
An illegal immigrant. He was an illegal migrant, and he shouldn't have been in our country, and he
Our
never
parents
would
have to
have
see that
been
they're being used
under
by the
the
GOP for the outrage. Yeah, no shit. They don't care. They fucking love it. What are you talking about? It seems clear.
Trump policy.
President Biden initially defended his decision to call Jose Ibarra, Laken Riley's accused murderer, an illegal, saying that technically he's not supposed to be here. But something changed, and quickly. And the president is now also explaining why he is filled with so much regret about calling anybody, even an accused murderer, an illegal.
I'm not going to treat any of it.
I hate this so much. Just pure vice signaling. Like, what's the policy here? The policy is pure vice signaling, being like, imagine being such a pussy that you apologize for calling a murderer an illegal. Okay. Like, what is this? What the fuck? This is not politics. It's just you being a fucking mean asshole. That's not policy. It blows my mind that the Republican Party is so openly being like, yeah, we got nothing, dog. We just want you to be a bad guy. Wow, imagine not being a fucking worse guy.
These people with disrespect. Look, they built the country. The reason our economy is growing. We have to control the border and a more orderly flow, but I don't share his view at all.
So you regret using that word?
Yes.
The Biden campaign is hoping for a reset this week focused on infrastructure and on jobs and on jokes about the president's age. So far, President Biden's handling of immigration is not part of the campaign's 1-minute sizzle reel of the first term so far. Sandra.
Peter Ducey at the White House for us. Peter, thank you. Dana?
Retired Yuma Sector Border Patrol Chief Chris Clem joins us now. And Chris, I want you to just listen to President Biden one more time out of this MSNBC interview. He rarely does interviews, so this is a chance to actually hear what he's thinking without the helicopter behind him. Watch here.
And look, when I spoke about the difference between Trump and me, one of the things I talked about on the border was that the way he talks about vermin, the way he talks about these people polluting the blood. I talked about what I'm not going to do, what I won't do. I'm not going to treat any of these people with disrespect.
Chris, from a Border Patrol perspective, does it matter the language that leaders use from Washington?
Well, good morning, and I do want to, before I answer that question, I want to recognize the family and friends of Border Patrol Agent Luna, who died on Friday, as well as those National Guard soldiers,
yes,
and also Laken Riley's family. But yes, these kind of things do matter when we have to deal with consequences. That's the most important piece. So again, terminology, we can go back and forth on that. This administration has started off with using the word illegal alien, moved to undocumented migrant, and now we're talking newcomers. That's fine. But at the end of the day, it's about upholding the rule of law.
It's like, I don't give a fuck what you call him. As long as I can bag him and tag him, boys. Yeehaw, partner.
And giving consequences. So, if we can do all that and call him whatever he wants to call them, but we have to detain them, we have to get them in front of the judges, and we have to remove those that need to be removed. So bottom line, when we enforce the law, we can call them whatever we need to call them. But that's the most important piece to Border Patrol agents, is doing our job and securing this border.
Hey, Chris, it's Sandra here. Speaker Mike Johnson obviously had a pretty firm reaction to all this, saying the president's cowering to his base, showing deference to a man who deserves none. This man is an illegal immigrant who brutally murdered Laken.
Brother, what are you saying? This is Dude, he could have called him the B word or the W word or the S word. There are many different racial slurs he could have called him. That shit doesn't change anything, okay? What the fuck? He's like, dude, you gotta say slurs when you're talking about a murderer. This is the dumbest fucking argument, dude. The point is, there are millions of undocumented immigrants in this country. It's a catch-all term that immediately dehumanizes every single undocumented immigrant. Okay? It's racist. That's it. It is the notion that like every single undocumented immigrant is illegal when no human being is, and that they are doing crimes all the time when the opposite is true.
Laken Riley, President Biden should be apologizing to Laken's family. What an embarrassment, says the speaker. What message do you think this flip-flop on the part of the president sends to any migrant that's here illegally right now who may be considering a crime?
Well, look, I agree with the speaker. This was not the time to sit there and start apologizing. He's yet to apologize to the Border Patrol agents on the Horse Patrol in Del Rio from a few years ago when he lied to the American people. So for him to apologize to the murder suspect, I mean, that is just ridiculous. And, you know, I do think it sends in a message of encouragement that that you can cross illegally and be supported by this administration. I mean, he has proven that time and time again. And it really is a complete disconnect from what's actually happening on the border security front. And you're seeing that in some of the reports this weekend from his progressive base. They're, again, conflating immigration and border security to score political points. But look, at the end of the day, we have a border security problem. And what we have witnessed in the last week or so, specific to this case, is exactly why we have to secure the border and we have to hold people and detain them until there is zero uncertainty who they are, what their intent is, if we can't remove them right away.
There's also a bigger question, and that is...
Yeah, as an undocumented migrant, I was on the verge of doing a crime, but then I found out that Biden actually called me an appropriate racial slur. Like, appropriate as in, like, whichever one that corresponds to my ethnic background. And lo and behold, I'm no longer interested in doing the crime. That's right. Maybe that's why white supremacists love defending being able to say the N-word. They think in their minds that if they say it, then like there will be no crime for black people. Only white crime is allowed. And there's no real slur for white people, so that's why white people can get away with crime, actually. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to find a fucking slur for the whites.
Going to be discussed today at a hearing on Capitol Hill about worldwide threats. And Senator James Langford talked yesterday about the real concern because of how many people have come across that have been targeted as on the terrorism watch list. Listen here.
Actually, it is our southern border right now is a major threat because what we've seen is 50 people on the terror watch list just in the last 4.5 months. We've seen more than 10,000 people come across our southern border, what are called special interest.
This guy's the biggest cuck, dude. Literally put forward the most like comprehensive reactionary right-wing immigration agenda. And because Donald Trump said we don't want that shit, he's now cooked. He's just dead in the fucking water. That bill that he could have put his signature on is now gone. Done.
Aliens. These are individuals who are literally being trafficked in from all over the world from very vulnerable places. They're coming right at the homeland. That is a major issue for us.
I mean, what's the Border Patrol supposed to do to try to catch these people that are on the terrorism watch list?
You know, well,
it's real funny. They're asking this question, and I don't agree, obviously, with the bill itself. But like, you guys are supposed to agree with it. You know what I mean? Like, this dude literally complained about like 8 key things that supposedly the Border Patrol is missing. Okay? There's a reason why originally the Border Patrol Police Union actually was in support of the fucking bill before Donald Trump said, he don't want the bill no more. Like, he's over here talking shit like, oh, we need faster processing for these migrants. We need to shorten the process time from 6 years or 6 months down to a couple weeks so that migrants know they can't stay in the country for 6 weeks. Like, okay, that's the bill. That's the Brandon bill. I hate these fucking people. I hate Joe Biden for presenting the bill to begin with. And I hate these fucking assholes for being like, yeah, how do we deal with this border crime? If only there was a fucking bill that we could pass to deal with this migrant crime, brother. It's just like a byproduct. It's a byproduct. Like, everyone is getting dumber and dumber as a consequence of this. It blows my fucking mind. Virtually every single thing he brought up here, as far as like what needs to change, is literally in the Biden bill. Is in the Biden border bill. That was written by the other pasty fucking asshole that you saw earlier. This guy. This Saltine Sally over here. That was the bill.